It's Paul from Wolf Software Systems, and I'm just installing a Proxmox Backup Server on WolfStack. And you can see, and what I've done is I've gone to the App Store, because it takes a bit of time, we can only jump to this bit. I've gone to it, but I've just clicked Go, which gives it a 200 gig storage drive for the backup, and also a small drive to actually store Proxmox Backup Server on. It's given me these IP addresses on WolfNet, so I'm just going to copy them and pop them somewhere else. And I'm going to click Got it. Okay. So that's actually done. This is just a log of what's going on. Now, if I go and look in virtual machines, here is Proxmox Backup Server that's been installed from the App Store. And I just click the terminal like this. Actually, that's a serial terminal. That's the wrong one. It's this one. And then I can do the installation. And I'm going to use the make it full screen. It's just loading up. Okay, give it a second. So it creates a VM basically. It gives you the IP address, gateway, and DNS server to install it on, which I'm doing right now. Okay, and there we go, Proxmox Backup Server. I'm going to, of course, agree to that, whatever that is. And you can see I've got two drives. That's the storage drive, and this is it's all set up by the App Store. You probably want to, if you're going to rent a big server to put, get something with a lot of space on it, at least a couple of terabytes. Okay, let's log in. Now this is where it's interesting. So I'm going to call this pbs.wolf.uk.com. It doesn't really matter because we're not going to put it in. I'm going to put the IP addresses I was given. And I'm going to put the gateway, and I'm going to put the DNS server. Don't have to touch anything else. It's all been set up for me by WolfStack. So we're going to now install it. You can see it's creating the partitions. The whole goal with WolfStack is to make this stuff real easy, so that you don't have to be digging around in network interfaces and everything like that. And also trying to keep as much as we can off of the internet in the sense of it. So we built this thing called WolfNet, which is like a virtual private network that it automatically sets up across the whole cluster and then manages the IP addresses automatically, rather than you have to worry about any of that. So you can actually have a Proxmox Backup Server. Say it takes longer for it to install it than you to actually type in the sort of 4 or 5 things that you have to type in. So it's just extracting it now. So obviously running on Debian, so just waiting for it to run. Give it a second. You can see it's running on the WolfStack. For those of you who have Proxmox, of course, you can actually install WolfStack on top of Proxmox and it will manage Proxmox for you. There's still 3 different types of virtualization it supports, and there's an enterprise version that has got all kinds of other clever tricks like white label and things like that, which is obviously a paid features. So we're just installing like this, and then what you can do with WolfStack, you can actually connect WolfStack to the Proxmox Backup Server in the backups thing. So if you've got an existing Proxmox Backup Server, you can connect WolfStack to it and actually go for it. Here we go, nearly there. Give it a second. Very exciting. It's interesting that their entire software stack is written in Rust. Proxmox. Okay, that's done. Okay, so 10.0.8.7. I'm just going to copy that, but I don't actually need it, and I'll show you why. Okay, so now it's rebooting. I tried to copy it. It's 10.10.10.6. Okay, so now it's gone to Proxmox Backup Server. It's automatically detected that now we have a working operating system, so it's booting Proxmox Backup Server for me. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, so let's move this VM console out of the way. Over there. So that's now booted, as you can see. So this VM is now our Proxmox Backup Server. Now, how can I access it? So I can either, if I wanted to expose it to the net, the internet, so I could get to that way, I could actually create a public IP mapping on the networking stage, but there's easier versions of doing that. Now, if I go across here, there's all kinds of functions, and one of them is the brand new cluster browser. So I'll open that right now, and you can see straight away that it's loaded up this page. And I'm going to go to HTTPS. There it is, 8007, which is the and it's on the local network. Now, what's actually happening? Proceed to it anyway. So here I am, and I put a root, and I go to log in. There's my Proxmox Backup Server installed and set up and running in under about 5 minutes. So obviously you've got to do the Proxmox backup stuff. You've got to initialize the 200 gig drive. You've got to add clusters and And then when you've done that, what you can do, I'll just close that, I don't need that anymore. So this web browser is actually running the cluster, so you don't actually have to set up a VPN into it or anything like that. It allows you to access any web service running in your cluster. So that saves a lot. So if you go into backups, the B for backups, of course it is alphabetical order, you'll see that we've actually got a Proxmox Backup Server set up already, I think. And here, yes, you can see, and here are the snapshots. This is actually running, there's quite a lot of backups running on a daily basis. So you could actually connect this to that backup server, and any machines on your cluster could be connected to that Proxmox Backup Server, and you can manage your backups here. Or if you've got Proxmox on, you can manage it directly on Proxmox if you want. WolfStack doesn't care. You can back up stuff on Proxmox and restore it to WolfStack. However, you don't really need to. You can actually just install WolfStack on top of Proxmox and then get all this lovely functionality. So that's a couple of big things that have been added. We've also added in the facility to, where we go, sidebar, to actually control all this stuff on the sidebar. So you can turn things on and off. So you really customize your view, because there is obviously a lot to it. There's a lot of things in WolfStack, and it's really designed. I mean, we've got a lot of home labbers use it, and I use it a lot to manage these. There's 14 servers there. This is the office network that I run on it. So yeah, so if you'd like to try WolfStack, it's open source. It's wolfstack.org. It's got all the instructions. Don't forget to follow the instructions exactly. You can create a WolfStack cluster out of everything, really, or run on Raspberry Pi, different types of processors and RAM. We have a saying that you can run it on your fridge if it'll run Linux. So probably, never tried that, but anyway, have a really good day. I hope that's interesting. If you'd like to talk to us about it, sales@wolf.uk.com is our email. Just go from there.